Welcome to Direct to Video, DVD Extras, a podcast between podcasts where we talk about whatever we want. Now, where's the button on this thing?
But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I didn't listen to the recording, but I do want you to bring up the point that you made about the Dark Knight video that you watched that I had retweeted a while back.
Oh, so you didn't listen to that recording. Did you hear me the first time? Because...
I did not. I lost the whole thing.
Okay, well, here was my issue. Old Mikey, Movies with Mikey, said The Dark Knight is his favorite movie. It's one of the best movies ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And he spent a long time talking about how the Joker is really the hero more than Batman, and how he's much more relatable and stuff like this, and how Heath Ledger is really good in his portrayal of not only an insane character, but a character who you want to know more about.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this, and I thought, wow, this movie is very overrated. Because, personally, I feel like... Now, you could say... No. I feel like if the whole movie had... The way it was presented, it felt to me like the whole movie was saved by the fact that Heath Ledger was... I think you can probably make an argument for the greatest Joker we've seen on screen.
Easily.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but...
Since he was such a good Joker, that movie was saved, despite the fact that none of the heroes are likable or relatable. And I honestly think they were supposed to be, and they just did not come across as such.
Have you watched Batman Begins?
Yes.
Okay,
it has been a while. And actually, one of my main problems with the second movie is that he saves the Joker from falling off a cliff after he didn't save Ra's al Ghul.
Okay, so Ra's al Ghul, which in the movie it's pronounced Ra's al Ghul.
But that's not how you fucking say it.
In the movie, it's Ra's al Ghul.
Okay.
Because fucking I don't know.
Because Hollywood.
Yeah. So in Batman Begins versus, like, even in Batman Begins, Batman is not, I cannot, as an audience member, I don't relate to Batman.
But that's
I relate a little bit to Bruce Wayne, but once Bruce Wayne makes the turn from being Bruce Wayne to being Batman, which he doesn't do until almost the end of Batman Begins.
Really? God, it's been so long since we've seen that movie.
I just rewatched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, like, not 2 days ago.
I have no interest in doing that. I thought that those movies were almost... I understand why people wanted a darker, grittier Batman than what we usually got. I think those take it to an almost comical level.
Well,
where it gets kind of stupid. But that might just be me. I had, once again, the same problem with Daredevil, where it started off really dark, and I thought, well, you can't just tell me it's this dark this early. You can't just tell me those are the consequences we have, and that's it. I felt like most of Batman was unearned. Although I will say that in The Dark Knight, everything felt more earned because of Heath Ledger.
So I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I think it's one thing to say that a movie's portrayal of a character isn't yours. And I can see how a lot of the actions that Batman takes in Batman Begins aren't, if they're not what you want out of the character, could be very jarring, because that happened to me when I watched Batman v Superman.
And I'm sure you have the same feelings. Most of what he does is not actually heroic.
Yeah.
they go to all the trouble of making it seem realistic that what he becomes is something just short of a serial killer. Because the thing is, Madman, holy Christ, Batman is Batman is supposed to be the one sane guy, you know? Or you could argue the one guy who goes crazy enough to deal with the real crazies. But he comes across as much more broken than any of the people he fights. And it makes him less heroic to me. I don't know.
I think that's understandable, but to me, it makes his crusade seem all the more well-intentioned but selfish, which I think is the point of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, is that at the end of the day, Bruce Wayne's intentions, as good as they are, will always be marred by the fact that the reason he started doing this was for the most selfish reason possible. And that he was one step short of handling that selfishness in a way that would have made him one of the biggest criminals in Gotham City.
Well, he did hack into everybody's cell phones in the second movie.
Yeah.
And did not bat an eye about the fact that is crazy illegal.
Yep.
Way more illegal than most of the stuff that's been going on in the city, barring murder.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the gist of the movie, is that by the end of The Dark Knight, like, Batman essentially quits. You don't really get the full effect of this because you haven't seen the third movie.
Again, I saw no reason to.
But you get the idea at the end of The Dark Knight that he's going to take the fall for the murder of this public figure, and then disappear.
Sure.
And he has to disappear because in the entirety of The Dark Knight, he escalates the situation to a point where he realizes that he is in the wrong, and he has to back down. That he's not worthy of the mantle that he has given himself. And The Dark Knight Rises has him realizing that even if he's not the best, even though he's not the best person to be the hero of Gotham City, he still has to do something about it because he created that responsibility for himself, and now he has to own up to those consequences. So the first movie is him trying to be the bigger person. The second movie is him realizing how far he would have to go and how unwilling he is to go that far all the time. And the third movie is him kind of accepting the fact that he has to be that hero. It's a great character arc for Batman, but
I guess at the end of the day, it's never how I've seen Batman.
Yeah,
it's not, and I can't visualize a Batman like that. Because we know that he is one of the smartest people ever. He's the greatest. He's the world's greatest detective. He knows all these martial arts. He knows medical science and all this junk.
Yeah.
And he still makes decisions that are staggeringly stupid.
I've always seen Batman.
Or I guess even if you call it this one decision that's staggeringly stupid, it is so staggering.
Yeah, honestly, if you didn't like the first two movies, the third movie, which is the weakest of the films, like by far, there are a lot of things that happen at the beginning of the movie, and I think a lot of those decisions were because of the fact that Heath Ledger died so soon after the production of The Dark Knight that they had to really quickly rewrite the beginning of this movie to make it make more sense. Mm-hmm. Having lost access to this character. But yeah, a lot of staggeringly stupid decisions happen at the beginning of The Dark Knight Rises. And I think Christopher Nolan's intent with his Dark Knight trilogy was portraying Batman as Batman the person, not Batman the hero.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a flawed Batman. I'm okay with I'm okay with a movie about Bruce Wayne where you might not even ever see Batman.
That'd be fun.
Because that's the person that Bruce Wayne is, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I don't like the way that he made that person.
That's
just, I mean...
And that's understandable.
It might just be me. Yeah.
Have you watched Batman v Superman?
No, I'm not a masochist.
Okay, so because I watched that movie in the theater, and to an extent, I've still not gotten over that experience. But
we have talked about how, I don't remember what episode it was. We have talked about how every day you get over another minute of that movie.
Yeah, and Batman murders, like on screen, kills 3 people.
Yeah, I read about that, and he's got one rule, and the one rule is no killing.
My one rule.
Wow.
So, it's so there. I think so. I have read Batman comics in which Batman kills people.
Mm-hmm. That's always a big deal, though, isn't it?
No, there are some Batman comics in which Batman just kills people. Like they exist. Okay. And they're usually set as kind of like alternate universe stories or what if stories.
Oh, right. And the one isn't the story that Batman v Superman is based off of an alternate universe story?
Yeah, it's partially based off of Frank Miller's The Dark Knight, which
I don't actually like Frank Miller.
I don't either. I think he's a piece of shit human being. But The Dark Knight is fine for a piece of comic that came out in the 80s. Like, it has all the problems that those comics back then had in terms of, like, you know, the portrayal of women and violence and minorities and all that stuff.
Cool. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's not. I own the comic. I own the comic because it's the one thing Frank Miller has done that I genuinely like reading. But it's I will never reread it. I just want to own it because it's kind of...
I just want to own it so no one else can read it.
It's one of those comics that, as a fan of Batman, is worth reading so that you can understand, like, this comic book is why people think of Batman as being dark, is because of that comic book. Mm. It started the entire convention that Batman has to be this dark, alone, aloof guy. Like it because before Frank Miller, Batman was still... Batman's comics focused as much on Bruce Wayne as a person as they did on Batman. Mm-hmm. And Frank Miller kind of started this idea of Bruce Wayne being kind of slaven to his Batman identity. Mm. So my biggest issue with Batman v Superman is if you're going to have a Batman that kills people at one point with a gun, if you're going to have that character,
oh, come on.
Yeah, no, I know. Like it's not. I know.
Come on.
Right? So it's you have to deal with the fact you have to deal with the fact that there is this culture, like you have this cultural pop icon that everyone knows 3 things about Batman. He's world's greatest detective, he doesn't kill, and he doesn't use guns. If you're going to take
4 things, dead parents.
If you're going to take away 2 of those rules and you're going to have a Batman that uses guns and kills people. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do that to this character, you need to do that at the beginning of your movie. You need to establish that in like the first 10 minutes of a movie when the audience is open to you molding this world however you want. You can do that in the first 10 minutes of a movie. If in the first 10 minutes of Batman v Superman they establish that this is a Bruce Wayne who is not only okay with killing people with guns, but is okay with just killing people... Sorry, I said that backwards. Is not only just okay with killing people, but is okay with killing them with guns. You have to do that really early on, and you have to make it a persistent part of that character, because every second that Batman didn't kill people with guns in this movie was a second that my belief that Batman as a character, as a person who didn't do those things, got stronger. Mm-hmm. So it happening, and it happened so late in the movie, him killing people with guns, that it comes as kind of a gut punch, wherein all of a sudden you have to throw everything you know about any of this movie out the window. And there's no way around that. And like I said, I've read comic books where Batman kills people with guns, but it's a persistent part of his character in those stories. It's constantly talked about. But in this movie, it just happens. And like Superman snapping the neck of a supervillain, You can't just do that.
Here's the thing. Heroes are supposed to be heroic. That's like the one rule. And they have to follow society's idea of what a hero is. And as a general rule, heroes don't snap the necks of people. That's so brutal.
If you're going to establish a character as being an anti-hero, which
I don't think Superman can be an anti-hero. I don't think, because he's the first superhero. That's so much weight to try to say, also he has a dark side, just like pushing that into it.
But that's what Man of Steel did, and that will always forever be my one big, I'm sorry, but fuck you. No, you can't do that to Superman. But here, right now, regardless of all of the poor editing, the bad action sequences, the bad acting, the weird line deliveries of all the problems with Zack Snyder's DC movies, throwing all that aside, Zack Snyder has a problem where he has an anti-hero in Superman. And then he tries to bring Batman into the picture, and Batman's whole relationship with Superman is the fact that Superman is a public figure and Batman is a public menace. Their whole relationship is based upon the fact that these two respect each other's ways of dealing with crime, but also cannot understand how the other does their job. It's what makes them good friends. And he completely destroys any possibility of relationship that these two characters can have in a single moment of this film. When
I didn't hear that. You cut out for a second. He destroys in a single what?
In a single moment of this movie, he destroys any possibility of these two characters having a modicum of understanding. Because Superman lands on the ground and asks Batman by birth name, he says Bruce, to help him. And then Bruce Wayne shoots Superman with dual chain guns.
Oh.
There are so many problems with this movie in how they portray two characters that have been in the public consciousness for almost 80 years, maybe more.
Okay, here's the thing. Again, I haven't seen this movie. But here's the thing. What it sounds like to me is it actually went in the opposite direction of stuff like The Dark Knight, where I feel like they went too dark making Batman complex. I feel like Batman v Superman went too dark in making these characters less complex. It sounds like all they're doing is trying to kill stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much the idea that you get out of this. The one redeeming quality this movie had, it didn't even earn, because at one point in the movie, Wonder Woman shows up for almost no fucking reason.
Okay. I saw that in all the trailers, which is literally one trailer that I managed to see 5 times in other movies.
Yeah, they really marketed the shit out of Batman v Superman. And I've met people who enjoy Batman v Superman. I've met people who enjoy Man of Steel, who they are getting something out of these movies, and I desperately want to know what that something is, because it's so not what I want out of a superhero. Even if, and I do appreciate a good dark and gritty superhero movie, but it is so not what I want out of a superhero movie that...
Do you know what? I think that's why, I honestly think that's why Marvel started getting popular all of the sudden, because they decided to break tradition and make a fucking Iron Man movie. And before they did that, nobody remembered who Iron Man was.
Yeah, really.
So they didn't have as much to live up to. They weren't making another Spider-Man movie where they had to make Tobey Maguire act like a fucking loon for half the movie.
God, I love Spider-Man 3 for all the wrong reasons.
Your history's greatest monster. So they made an Iron Man movie, they made a Thor movie, and then they specifically didn't make another Hulk movie. You know? They went for making movies about characters that people did not have hugely strong opinions on until they got enough momentum to finally make a Captain America movie.
which I fucking loved. That Captain America movie was everything I wanted.
It's pretty good as a superhero war movie. It seems like that's what they're going to try to do with Wonder Woman, and I don't know, man.
I don't know if they can pull it off. I don't believe that they could pull it off. I want it to succeed.
I don't have a lot of faith in them.
I have such a complex relationship right now because I want the Wonder Woman movie to be good because fuck, I want a good Wonder Woman movie because I love Wonder Woman so much. That's mostly recent. If you want to talk about having to fight anything at all, like Superman and Batman are already hard enough superheroes to deal with.
Yes.
But Wonder Woman, you have triple baggage because Wonder Woman isn't just a superhero; she's a female superhero, which is already you have to fight all of these biases of against women that exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's a feminist icon, and you have to come to terms with that because Wonder Woman is a feminist icon almost despite everything that DC's head writers have tried to do.
Yeah.
And on top of both of those things, this movie has to succeed off the heels of Batman v Superman, a movie that has no tone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for listening to Direct-to-Video VHS DVD Extras. I have been your host, Tony Robusto.
I have been your host, Andy Luke, I am your daddy, Reyes.
Oh! Literally, I can't stop myself from doing it anymore. But come on, man.
I was going to say, do not choke, but then I couldn't remember what the third word was. I was like, it's not ambitions. Shit, hurry, come up with something else. Aspirations. But... Oh, man, I'm sorry. Just get it out of your system.
Jesus. Okay.
You good?
I am so sorry. That was not the reaction I expected or wanted.
Oh, man. As always, you can find us at direct2.video. You can find me on Twitter at royalty_Valens. The underscore is important.
And, jeez. And you can find me on Twitter at TheaterBats with an ER. And, while you are on the internet, anywhere on the internet, doesn't matter where, you can leave us a 5-star rating and review. Just, type that into Google, leave us a 5-star rating and review, and presumably something will come up. That's how the internet works.
Yeah, iTunes, Google Play, we don't care. Just give us that review.
The Google Play actually had a weird problem where it was still playing from our SoundCloud one, which only had 2 episodes on it. But I fixed it. It just took a while.
That's good.
Oh, and all those links are actually on Direct-to-Video now. If you want to go over there and just click them, you can do that.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Synergy.
Yeah, for the first time ever, I would like to thank Lee Rosevere for the theme from Penguins on Parade off of Music for Podcast 3.
Sure. Lee Rosevere is a dude. I just looked this up. Male. Uses masculine pronouns. It is a nice theme song, and you can fucking read about that in the description if you're so up on it.
If you're so inclined, yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But,
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I am the ghost of John Smith.
Oh, goddamn.
Perfect! Superman snaps the neck of a supervillain?
He does that at the end of Man of Steel.